You're watching another episode of What Do You Need to Know to Live in Costa Rica. Today, we're talking about the top reasons internationals leave Costa Rica.
Hey everyone, I'm Patrick Jager, joined as always by my good friend and business partner, Mr. Aaron Bailey. Hello, sir.
Pura vida, Patrick, from the rainy season in Costa Rica. Are we over the rain yet? I'm getting close.
No, we can't be because it's going to go on. It's going to go on for a long time. So I don't think you are quite there yet.
Fine. All right. I love the rain.
So today, rain is one reason why people do leave Costa Rica. So today we are talking about the top 10 reasons internationals leave Costa Rica. But first, Aaron, if you
Patrick,
like what we're doing, what do they do?
They do all sorts of things. They subscribe to our channel. That would be really helpful. Thumbs up this video, leave a comment, shoot us an email. We love emails. hola@yourpuravida.com. We read them all. We respond to all of them, I think. And most, if you're nice. Yes, we would love to hear from you. Join this little fledgling startup of a community.
You know, it's interesting. We had today two separate groups of two families that are scouting right now in country, and both contacted us just to touch base. And it really did remind me just how many people are coming and how quickly they're starting to find their own tribes. One woman, I will shout out, Susan, has found a tribe on a scouting trip, and she's really excited by that. And she's coming here with the right intention. She knows why she's here. She's very excited to be here. But we also know that there are some that leave. We have some that leave during a scout and say, yeah, bye-bye. It's not for us. We say to a lot of people before we start, we expect three outcomes, one of three outcomes. You can't but have one of three outcomes if you're serious about coming and scouting. That is either A, I found my place, I'm in love, I cannot wait to move here. B, think Costa Rica is right, we have to still scout, or absolutely not, I don't want to be here. All three of those are the right answer. And we would much rather have that happen when you're in a scouting process than once you move here and realize it's not for you. Aaron, what's the stat? I mean, it's a pretty high number, shockingly, of people, and I know the numbers change, but what's the stat?
Well, it's hard to really say, right? Because this is all hearsay. But I've heard anywhere up to 50% leave within the first 2 years. It's probably somewhere 30, 40%. And coming here and leaving is perfectly fine. It's a valid thing to do. We move across country and then we move back. But yeah, about probably 20, 30, 40, maybe even 50% of people leave within the first 2 years. You and I have we both have, what's the word I'm looking for? We've both gotten past that hurdle of 2 years.
I feel we have, and I think part of that is because we've really leaned into finding our tribes. And I do think that does a lot for it, because once you have that tribe, you really get a sense of how to be okay with where you are because you have others that you can kind of agree on. So this is the top 10 reasons why internationals do leave Costa Rica. No particular order. Aaron, number one.
The number one, unmet expectations. And you have this romantic view in your mind of Costa Rica. I'm going to be on the beach every day. I'm going to drink pina coladas. I'm going to just have this amazing life in Costa Rica. And then you get here and you're like, one, I don't want to do that because that gets boring and repetitive. But two, there's a lot of other things I have to deal with. If, I'm still working, I have to work. But if you're retired, you're going to have to go to the bank. You're going to have to go to the grocery store. You can't just sit at a hotel bar and drink. There's a lot of things, conveniences, everyday conveniences and setbacks. It's not this rosy 24/7, 365 vacation like so many people think it is.
Yeah, and things are cumbersome. Like if what we want is the immediacy that we're used to, we want the Amazon of it all, and we want the instantaneousness, and we want to be able to drive through everything and a dry cleaner on every corner or, whatever. You're just not going to find that. So number two ties to, especially the Amazon of it all, the cost of imported goods. A lot of people come here thinking, oh, it's going to be so cheap. Well, we've said it on a bunch of videos. It bears repeating. This is a small country, less than 6 million people, somewhere between 5 and 5.5 million people. That is like a fifth the size of Mexico City alone. So when you're thinking about the cost of importing to Mexico City, you have a much larger pool. The cost of then going into Mexico, a much larger pool. So of course, things that come in here are going to be more expensive. They just can't import as many. Therefore, the cost per goes up. It's not astronomical, but if you've ever bought anything in Hawaii or the Caymans or anywhere that is isolated, yeah, it is going to cost more. And if you are dependent on budget low prices, but you don't want to shop local, it's going to be more expensive for sure.
And if you move here thinking that everything is going to be cheap, it's not. And you're going to be disillusioned and you're going to want to move back. So, yeah, go into it knowing the real cost of things. Number three, healthcare. Costa Rica has really good healthcare, but it's just slightly different. It operates slightly differently. Doctors oftentimes will speak English, but not always. And so you've got that hurdle of dealing with, speaking Spanish to get your medical care. And if you're part of the public system, the La Caja, oftentimes you'll have to wait for things. So it's just a different way of navigating the system. It can be a lot better, but you got to know really how to navigate the system. And so often people don't try to navigate and they don't learn how to navigate, and it's frustration and they want to move back.
Yeah, and the navigating, I think, is the key point. We've already touched on this, but number four ties to healthcare. It ties to going to the bank. It ties to everything. That's bureaucracy and the residency requirements. People again think because it's so easy to come here as a tourist that therefore everything is going to be that easy. You get in, you don't have to have a stamp, nothing. Well, there is bureaucracy. There's bureaucracy on purpose. They don't want everyone just moving here. So there are a lot of requirements that you have to hit if you want to live here, both in what type of person, what type of level, how much you have to have for a rentista or a pensionista, or how much you have to invest for the investor permit. But also the bureaucracy of going to get your permits for your DECRA, which is your like your smog check for your car. It's once every 2 years, but you're going to be there for an hour and you don't have a choice, and people find it challenging. And there are a lot of people that say, I don't want to live here. It's too cumbersome. It's kind of cumbersome on purpose. But it is a big reason people leave. Number five, Aaron, we've kind of talked about too.
Yeah, lack of convenience and services. This isn't a 24/7, 365 society. Things are slower here. I went somewhere the other day and it closed at 8. I got there like at 8:05 and I was like, why is this not open till 9 or 10? Like it would have been in the United States. I'm like, no, because I'm not in the United States. I'm not back home. I've got to learn to adjust. It's fine. It was just an hour. But in the city in San Jose, sometimes you can get a little bit of that convenience. Like I order Uber Eats way a little too often, probably, but every day. But the farther out you go, you don't have those conveniences. Mountain towns, beach towns, it's really sleepy sometimes. And so you have to go into it knowing that you don't have those modern amenities like you might in downtown Chicago that you do in Ovita, Costa Rica, I said that backwards, but you get what I'm saying. It's different here, and you got to learn to adjust.
What's interesting about that? Like we talked to a lot of people that don't want to live in the Central Valley. We assume that most people are going to live in the Central Valley or near a hub. So like in Guanacaste, near Tamarindo or further north because it's closer to airports and larger shopping. But some people do want to live very removed. We had a conversation with someone the other day. They are headstrong that they're going to live in Dominical or even further south. Beautiful. But then you have to figure out, how are you going to go get your groceries? Where are you going to go for your big bulk purchases? Are you fine with having to drive up to the city and stay the night before your flight? Or are you going to take a puddle jumper up? Like it is a small country with lots of challenges that if you learn to adapt, the challenges are fun. They become part of your life. But if you do not learn to adapt, which brings me to number 6. Language barrier. Adapting is harder if you're going to go in with the mindset that I speak English and English is the world's language. It's not the world's language. And you have decided to come to a Spanish speaking country. You don't have to be fluent. Aaron and I aren't fluent, but we try. We try with our friends. We try with our neighbors. We definitely try in stores. I really make an effort not to. A lot of times I'll speak Spanish and they're speaking back to me in English because they just think it would be easier. You don't have to be perfect, but if you come here thinking that the world should speak English, especially if you're going to live further away, if you're going to live in somewhere that isn't as tourist or international community friendly, you're going to have a hard time, and that's going to become frustrating, and it's going to add to why you want to leave. And if you are someone that doesn't want to speak Spanish, you probably chose the wrong country, and maybe it's right that you leave.
Right. I just started a Spanish professor 6 hours a week. It's painful. It is so painful, but it's I should have done this 2 years ago. I should have done this 3 years ago. It is part of the process. I really want to become even more conversationalist, and I think that will just change my life drastically while living here.
Yeah, great.
Okay, next up, climate. Listen, we said it at the top of this video. You know, the rainy season is not all hunky-dory, people. It is, you know, it's intense. It can be intense. Humidity, rainfall, heat on the coasts. Those are all things that you have to adapt to. You have to learn how to work around and to just acquaint yourself with. Costa Rica's climate is not perfect. A lot of people move here thinking it's going to be perfect all year round. Central Valley is going to be spring-like all year round. Well, listen, it's not. The rain happens. The rain just started. And there's occasionally some mudslides, and occasionally it is so humid outside when I go to the beach that I just don't want to go outside. You got to learn how to adapt. A lot of people leave Costa Rica because they were expecting perfect weather and they don't get it.
You know, that's the challenge. You come down on vacation and it's the best of all things. You're staying at a hotel. People are making your bed for you. You can go wash off at the pool, but you know you're going to be out of the humidity in a few days. It's how this adds up. And we're not trying to scare you with all this. If anything, it's the opposite. Think through this stuff, because this stuff, check, no matter where you live. People move to, I want to live in snow. And then they realize, I hate cold. You know, you got to think about where you're going to live. Tied to that is number 8, homesickness and cultural adjustment. There are a lot of people that, again, for short amounts of time, they can come down for a week, they can come down for a month, maybe even a year, but they really become homesick or just realize that the cultural differences are not for them. I applaud you if you realize that and you go back. We hope that happens before you choose to move, which is why we're very emphatic with the way that we do our scouting service, and even at how we help our clients that are going through relocation to really think through things at a very deep level and not come in just in a utopia. But you know, that initial excitement's going to wear off, and it becomes, as you said a little bit ago, it's going to become a grind. You still have to go to the bank and the grocery store and deal with your car and deal with your neighbor and deal with the gardener and, you know, all these things that you got to deal with. That's life. And if you decided you wanted to have, you wanted to have 12 acres and you wanted to be able to farm, but now you're freaking out about that, well, that's why we really want you to think about this. On the homesickness side, I think that's really gotten so much better because we can do this type of video communication now. I mean, I'm on with my friends. When I'm in the States, I'm on with Aaron. When I'm in Costa Rica, I'm on with my friends in the States all the time. And that connectivity is there. But for some people, it is something that is not going to allow them to stay here long term. Number 7 or number 8. No, wait, 9. Sorry. Number 9.
Number
Go for it.
9. Traffic. Traffic. What the utter F? Traffic. Traffic can you be like, what, like, why? I just say that often when I'm in the car. Why? It's insane. It makes no sense. To go 2 kilometers can sometimes take you what seems like 5 hours. You're just sitting. When it rains, traffic slows down. I don't understand. This is a tropical country where it rains all the time. Why haven't they learned how to drive in the rain? But it just is. And so traffic can get frustrating. You got to get past it. You got to find your zen when you're in the car. And that applies to just getting around Costa Rica as well. Things are slower. We talked about this so many times. Things are slower. It makes commuting, if you're dropping your kids off at school and then you're running to the store and then you're doing this and doing that, these things add up. And you've got to just plan for that. That's why with our scouting clients, especially those with kids who are dropping them off at school, we really make sure to think through where they might want to live so that they minimize that traffic time. But yeah, oftentimes I don't get in my car. I haven't been in my car for a week, and that's perfectly fine. So if you can build your life around that, or if you can't, you just got to learn how to adapt and find your moment of zen while you're driving through Costa Rica.
One word: podcasts. That's mine. I podcast it up.
Or listen, or put on YouTube and listen to us. Listen to the two of us blather on about stuff.
Brilliant. Last one. 10. Safety and security concerns. There are people that leave because they feel that it is an unsafe country for a lot of different reasons. Maybe they had their car broken into. Maybe they, maybe they heard of someone or read in the newspaper something that happened to someone in a tourist town. There is crime. We've talked about this a bunch. It's interesting to me that someone would be here for a few years and then decide to move for that reason. I did have a neighbor though that said, the Costa Rica that I moved to, 15 years ago is not the same Costa Rica today. And they did cite safety and security. But to me, honestly, I think they were just adding that to the list because I think they were just done. We've said it many times. There's nowhere, I truly don't feel unsafe any more so than I do anywhere I am in the States. It's easy for me to say as a white male. But our job on all these things, all 10 of these and more, is to help you think through this ahead of time, which helps us kind of think about like, what are the considerations, Aaron, people should take if they want to make sure that they are thinking through this stuff before they relocate?
You got to start with research. You gotta research and you've got to visit. We can tell you all sorts of things. You can watch YouTube videos. You can read websites. You can all sorts of different ways of researching about life here in Costa Rica. But you've got to visit. You've got to research and you've got to visit. You've got to see how it feels to be here and spend not just a couple days, but spend longer periods of time to really understand what it's like to be here on a daily, weekly, monthly basis before you make that move.
Yeah. The next couple are, set realistic expectations for yourself. This is one of the reasons we always do a survey with our clients, because people's expectations sometimes are so not humanly possible. I want to have this beautiful life on the beach, but I don't like humidity and I don't like bugs and I don't want to be where there are a bunch of tourists and so you've got to set realistic expectations, and tied to that, you have to consider your location carefully. Why are you living somewhere? Like, what are the things you need? You mentioned families. When it's a family, school becomes critical, and then extracurriculars, and maybe it's a house of worship and proximity to the beach or the proximity to a hospital or. Like, you have to consider your location carefully. Too many people come here for the dream and they don't truly think through the logistics. And I think that that's a big one.
And I think tying into that is location. It's really about figuring out what type of life you want, and then figuring out where in Costa Rica can match that. You said it so perfectly. We go through, we have a survey, we start with that survey so we really get to know people, and then we are able to better, with an educated way, talk them through what areas might they want to check out, might they want to scout, so that they are seeing a real life in Costa Rica and not just the life of a tourist.
Yeah. And I think then, just to kind of sum this up, because we could go on forever and ever. You got to prepare for healthcare options. You have to think about the bureaucracy. You have to think about language. You have to think about community. You have to think about climate. But then the biggest thing tied to that, I think, is really think through the finances of what it will take to live the life you want to live here. Anyone can live a life here. It's whether or not it fits your criteria. We've talked a lot in this video about criteria because it's expectation versus reality. So the more you're going to expect, the more you have to be financially comfortable for that. And we talk to all of our clients in depth. It's too hard really to do on this video, but this is a key part of what we do, is help people really think through the financials of this. And if they can do it, if you can do this, we can help you get there. But what we've tried to say in this whole video, Aaron, is be realistic and really think through things ahead of time so you don't become one of those internationals that leave the country.
Yes, absolutely. This has been a great video. I think if people out there watching and thinking, yeah, maybe I can do this. Patrick, what are the next steps?
Well, the easiest thing to do is reach out to us. On our website, you can find a link if you want to sign up to have a conversation with us. You can email us at hola@yourportavida.com. You can respond to this video and we can start a dialogue here and then move it over there. Get engaged with other things we do. Check out our website, check out our blogs, check out our Instagram. Start researching. If this is early on and you're not quite ready to scout, join groups, start doing digging, get all this information that you can have so that when you are prepared to come for a scout, we can really help you think through this stuff. We love having you part of our community. This means the world to us, and we thank you for spending this 22 minutes with us. And until next time, Aaron Bailey.
Pura vida, Patrick.